Good evening. My name is Nolen. Today I'm sharing my synthesis and reflections on a topic that is fundamentally redefining corporate landscape. That is the strategic role of information technology. There was a time not long ago when IT was relegated to the basement, literally and figuratively. It was a cost center, a utility like electricity or plumbing. But today, we are going to pivot that perspective. We will look at IT as the nervous system of a modern organization, the essential infrastructure that allows a company to sense market shifts, react to competition, and thrive in an increasingly volatile digital world. To pervasive influence, we often hear the phrase digital transformation. It's more than a buzzword, it's a reality where IT now shapes every department, from how HR recruits talent using AI to marketing tracks the customer's journey across the globe. We also look at the literacy gap. One of my core arguments today is the digital literacy is no longer just for techies. It is a prerequisite for leadership. Whether you are in finance, operational sales, if you don't understand the tech stack driving your department, you are leading with one eye closed. Then we look at transition. Before we explore what IT is taking us, we need to align what IT actually looks like in a modern corporate ecosystem. What is IT in an organization? Well, we look at the ecosystem concept. IT is not a single product, it is an interconnected ecosystem. Think of it as three different layers. Layer one, the foundational hardware. This isn't just servers and racks, it is the edge, it is the tablets on the floor, sensors in the shipping containers, or the mobile devices that make our workforce truly untethered. Then we'll look at layer two, the intelligence or the software in data. This is where the logic lives: ERP systems, CRM platforms, and massive data lakes that store the lifeblood of the company. Then we'll look at layer three. This is the glue, the networks and integrations. The magic happens here. A CRM is useless if it doesn't talk to the billing department. Strategic IT is about breaking down these silos through seamless integration. Next, we'll move on to the central strategic lesson. Strategic partner versus cost center. The most successful companies in the S&P 500 share a common trait. They don't view IT as an expense to be minimized. They view it as an investment to be optimized. When IT is a strategic partner, they're at the table during the planning of the business goals, not just called to implement them after they are fact. We look at efficiency and innovation. IT provides two types of value. First, operational efficiency, doing what we already do but faster and cheaper. And secondly, innovation, creating entirely new products or business models that were technically impossible just 5 years ago. We're going to look at a historical the evolution of IT. From the 1960s to the 1980s, the era of record. IT was back office automation. It was about moving from paper ledgers to digital ones. It was a tool for clerks. From the 1990s to 2000s, the era of connectivity, the internet changed the game. It wasn't just about its internal records anymore. It was about the global reach. The walls of the office disappeared and e-commerce was born. Then we get to present day, the era of intelligence. We've moved past simple connectivity. Now it's about making sense of the noise. We have moved from asking what happened to what is going to happen next and how will we automate that response. We move over to contemporary IT trends. Cloud computing is one of those. This is a great equalizer. It allows a startup company to have the same computing power as a Fortune 500 company. It is about shifting from buying stuff to buying capabilities on demand. Then we look at cybersecurity. I want to emphasize this. Security is now a board level issue. It is not just a technical glitch. It's a data breach, is a massive breach of customer trust. In the digital age, trust is the most valuable currency that you have. We also look at data analytics. Once a part of this case study, IT as a catalyst for change. The scenario. Let's look at a typical mid-sized firm moving to the cloud. On paper, it looks like a technical migration. In reality, it's a cultural revolution. The human friction. When we introduce new tech, we often face passive resistance, which technically means people are comfortable with their old spreadsheets. They fear that automation is a code word for layoffs. Addressing this fear is the hardest part of any IT manager's job. The outcome. The companies that succeed are those that lead with empathy, showing employees how the new tools will remove the drudge work and allow them to focus on a high level task. Next, we'll look at impacts on performance. We'll start with evidence based management. We're moving away from the HIPPO method, the highest paid person's opinion. With modern IT, we're decision based on real time dashboards and data. We look at the agility dividend. In a crisis like we saw in 2020, IT ready organizations did not just survive, they gained market shares because they were able to pivot their entire workforce to a remote operation in less than 48 hours. Challenges in IT adoption, culture versus strategy. As Peter Drucker famously said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can buy the best software in the world, but if your team doesn't want to use it, your ROI is zero. We look at also the legacy deficit. Many old organizations are built on spaghetti code, decades old systems that are too fragile to move but too expensive to maintain. This is the anchor that prevents speed. Now, also, we look at shadow IT. When IT is too slow, employees start using their own tools like personal drop boxes and unauthorized AI. This creates massive security holes. We next look at strategic solutions. The incremental approach, the big bang approach to IT projects almost always fails. We need agile methodology, small iterative releases that show value about every 2 weeks. We also look at the training mandate. For every dollar spent on software, a company spends a significant effort on training and change management. IT is a human centric discipline. Management best practices, the shared language. The chief information officer must be able to explain cloud latency in terms of customer churn or quarterly revenue. If you can't translate tech into business value, you aren't managing IT strategically. Audit and governance. We need a culture of continuous audit. Don't wait for a disaster to check your backups. Assume everything will go wrong and build systems that are resilient. Personal reflection. My biggest takeaway from the course is that the IT department shouldn't exit or exist in a vacuum. In the future, every department will be a big tech department that specializes in a specific function. We must be able to adapt and overcome. We must be able to work together while maintaining security. The tech I learned today may be obsolete in 3 years. The most important skill I've gained in the ability to learn how to leverage new technology quickly and effectively. Future outlook 26 to 2030. Generative AI. We are moving from AI that classifies things to AI that creates things. This will automate middle management tasks and create workflow alike. The Internet of Behavior. Using the Internet of Things data to influence human behavior opens up incredible opportunities for efficiency, but also massive ethical questions that we must be ready to answer. And in conclusion, IT is the foundation of organizational resilience. It is the difference between a company that is fragile and one that is anti fragile and getting stronger with every market disruption. A final call to action. Don't just be a user of technology, be a strategist. Look at the tools that you use every day and ask, how does this help my company win? Any questions? And we have key resources that list at the bottom, as well as our image sources that we have used for the presentation.